Well, my next guest knows all too well about the dangers that those tunnels pose to Israeli soldiers. Just over a decade ago, a booby-trapped tunnel close to Gaza left him permanently blind. Achiya Klein is a former IDF unit officer at Yahalom. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Can you tell us then, with your experience of what the IDF troops are facing as they go into Gaza? They say they've destroyed 130 tunnel shafts so far. What do you think are the main challenges moving ahead?
First of all, thanks for having me. I think the challenge it's the complex of how the tunnel is built underground, like the connecting between the houses, between Hamas hidings and arms storage and everything. So basically, it's like we all very known from the picture, from the video. We know what we called Gaza, but their underground it's a full entire world that exists, and the IDF will need to take care of that.
And tell us what it's like to go inside these tunnels. The oxygen, the lack of light, the feeling of claustrophobia must be overwhelming.
Yeah, I can say it's not easy, but I came to the tunnel 10 years ago, well trained, and I'm sure my fellow soldier that now served in the IDF in the Yahalom unit are very well trained also for that. Yeah, you know, the lack of light, the feeling of I mean, the first step, you know exactly where you're stepping into. I mean, you're stepping into the unknown. That's the most scary step. But they know they have confidence. They know what they do, and they know why they're going there. So I think that's very helpful.
And the tunnels today are much more extensive, aren't they, than they were a decade ago?
100%. We saw. I mean, from 2005 when we used to be in the Gaza Strip, and we faced a very shallow channel, very undeveloped tunnel. During years and years, we saw the development of the tunnel, the evolution of the tunnels, and they became expert of that, you know.
And they live underground. They live in these tunnels.
They have absolutely everything that they need. I mean, we just heard from the IDF spokesperson about how all mechanism of hospitals or for a very critical place in Gaza connect directly to the tunnel, directly to their hide. I mean, I think there is no question they are well prepared for the IDF to go inside the Gaza Strip and to fight with them. So I think they are very, very well prepared for that.
And of course, they tried to use these tunnels to burrow their way into Israel. I don't know if you know much about the tunnels on the other side that they tried to use to get into Egypt. The Egyptians dealt with them much more harshly, didn't they?
Yeah. Of course, I think the Egyptian. I think the tunnel to the Egyptian side, there was more like a kind of a smuggling tunnels, was a little bit bigger tunnel, and the Egyptian know exactly what to do with that. I mean, let's remember the border between Gaza to Israel, it's way more shorter to the border between Israel and Gaza, so they have more hands-on. Let's call it like that.
I understand that they flooded them.
Yeah, they did it like several stuff. I mean, the Egyptian taking care of tunnel was very much more harder and tougher than what we use to do to the tunnel between Gaza and Israel.
And of course, Israel can't just go in and destroy the tunnels altogether like Egypt did, because our hostages are most likely being held in those tunnels.
I mean, that's I think one of the guesses that I mean, that's the most stuff that's difficult. I think that kind of Israel facing it's to understand where is the hostages. I mean, there is probably highly percentage. One of the hostages just released. She said they walk in tunnels to a big place, a big room. They will stay there. So I mean, it's 100% make everything more difficult.
And as I said, there are more tunnels today. They're more complex. They've built them over the past decade. They've built up the network. But the IDF also has access to resources today that it didn't have a decade ago. What are the best tools that the Israeli forces have to locate and destroy and deal with the tunnels?
I mean, I don't know what's going on now on the ground. It was like 10 years ago what I was need to deal, and it was completely different world. But I think it's the complex. It's what you just said. It's a network of the tunnel. It's like not just like a straight line from house to house. It's also like a rooms and like everything that they need there. So everything just became way more complex. And one of the stuff that the Israelis need to do is like to make sure they don't miss any hole in the way, and to make sure to clean it very, very good.
All right, Achiya Klein, fascinating to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.